The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
It happens here each week. We step out and enjoy our region's events and rich culture.
We are proud to support WYES.
Roll camera.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hey,
it's great to
Peg.
see you. Hello. Gwen Thompkins, host-producer of the public radio series Music Inside Out, which can be heard at musicinsideout.org. Good to see you again, my
Very
dear.
nice to see you, Peggy.
And it's been a while. Augustin J. Correro, he is, my goodness, the co-founding, producing, and artistic director of the Tennessee Williams Theater Company and the director of the currently running, very highly prized, A Streetcar Named Desire. Good to see you, sir.
Glad to be back.
Hello. Alan Mason returns next week. Poppy, you know, you never know who you're going to run into at the Crescent Market.
At the Crescent
Farmers
City
Market.
Farmers Market. I'll tell you, Sundays, it's like a festival out there. It's one of the happiest places on earth. And I was there Sunday, and I was so thrilled to see Elan and Emily Shia and their 3-week-old little baby boy. Now their family is complete. Look at the big sister having a little sip of something cold. You never know who you're going to see. The Chef's Shop, it's so much fun. It's every Sunday, Tuesdays uptown, and Thursdays.
So Sundays by Tad Gorman,
Sundays,
right? City Park.
at City Park. And you know, it does my heart such good to see all these babies, because there's even... Ralph Brennan has a new grandbaby. Patrick had a son. So congratulations to all of my friends and those new babies. And more congratulations, because if you're a Yelper, yesterday was a really big day. They released their list of 25 best new restaurants in the South. And I wanted to formally congratulate Dala, who comes in at number 5. Of course, that delicious Thai food downtown. And up on Ferret Street, the Pigeon and Whale comes in at number 11. And I heard a little scoop this week that, you know, they've done such a great job with seafood. I hear they're going to make a, shall we say, stab at a steak at a location on Ferret across the street. So we'll see how that goes, but that's some news. And then the celebration continues, because it's hard to believe that this year is the 20th annual Culinary. And of course, that is the time to go out and eat in New Orleans. This year they have extended it, so it's 6 weeks long, running all the way till September the 15th. There's 134 participants and counting. And the basic format is 2-course lunches for $28 or less, and the 2-course dinner at $58 or less. But I'd like to point out there's lots of or less. The hotel dining is really terrific. If you have not been to King Brasserie, this is the most wonderful for Francophiles. The food's divine. It's like you're in France. Their deal is a $42 dinner, and their lunch is basically the same yumminess. Seared scallops, steak frite for choices. It's only $28 at lunch, and you're just missing dessert. Then the Commons Club in the Virgin Hotel. It's one of the great things about New Orleans. We've got these fantastic hotels who hire great chefs, like local chef Chris Borges, who is the chef there. The 2-course brunch is only $29, and avocado toast with sunflower seed tahini. The dinner, 3 courses with choices like lamb shank griots and a pork porterhouse, only $49. And you know, you need to, it's the most fun thing to go to the website and just click through all of the things. Some places have a deal for a glass of wine or a glass of champagne or specially priced bottles of wine. My favorite is Two Jacks. If you Uber downtown or take a cab and show them the receipt, they give you $7.50 off of your already discounted culinary menu. And then Uptown, Costera is always knocking it out the park. Their 3-course tasting menu for $55 lets you take a culinary trip to Spain. It's delicious. And not to stop on the South Shore, the Tammany Taste of Summer is happening on the North Shore with nearly 50 restaurants participating in places like Covington, Madisonville, Folsom, Mandeville, and Slidell. If you have not been to the New Dakota, which is incredible in downtown Covington, 3 courses for $45. How about a grilled peach and crispy prosciutto salad? For dessert, I really want the chocolate Sheba with a salted caramel sauce and chantilly cream and candied pecans. And my other great favorite, I don't think enough South Shore folks drive to Slidell for the experience at Palmetto's on the Bayou. It is literally one of the most beautiful restaurants to sit in and dine, inside or out, right there on the Bayou, literally. 3 courses for just $35 for dinner. Barbecued shrimp, creme brulee, anyone? Bargains everywhere, so get out there and eat.
Boy, that's a deal. I'm just thinking about that. I'm putting my checklist of the list that you provided here.
And Peg, the one thing I forgot to mention is also new this year. You have a chance to give back with culinary. You have a chance to give to Second Harvest Food Bank on your check, and New Orleans and Company is matching it dollar for dollar.
Oh, what a great idea, too. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to hear it. Satchmo, yay!
Fest, yes.
Gwen, lots to talk about. I know it's hard to pick your faves, but...
It is, actually. It is. But I always say before any festival, you know, if you're there and you're having a good time, you're in the exact right place, so you don't have to worry about where should I be? Where should I be? No, if you're having a good time, you're at the right place exactly. But this year, Satchmo Fest is really fun. I mean, it's always fun, but this year it's going to be lovely. It's free. All the activities are free this year, and it also coincides with an exhibition at the Jazz Museum, which is of course the old Mint down on Esplanade near Decatur, and that is called "It All Started in Jane Alley," Louis Armstrong in New Orleans, and that's going to be a permanent exhibit there. Right. It's been put together by David Cunion and the staff over at the Jazz Museum. And for more information, you have to go to satchmosummerfest.org, and you can see everything. But here are the things that I'm going to try to go and see. Catherine Russell. She is a must-see this weekend. She is the daughter of Louis Russell, who was a great friend and collaborator of Louis Armstrong's. And he even turned over his big band to Louis Armstrong in the 1930s. Catherine Russell, she's a consummate musician, consummate singer, and she's frequently featured over at Jazz at Lincoln Center in New York. And she was, in fact, at Jazz Fest this year, and she really knocked it out. I mean, she was fantastic. And she's also going to be at the festival in other capacities on the lecture stage over at the Satchmo Legacy stage inside the Jazz Museum. But to hear her sing is something special, and she's going to be on the Fidelity Bank stage. That's the stage that's right on Barrack Street by the Old Mint or the Jazz Museum, and that's going to be at 1:50 on Saturday. There's a competing event. But they actually don't overlap the whole time, so you can actually see both, and I'm going to plan to do that, and that's going to be, I'm going to go and see Keith Hatschek, and this is a fellow, he's a wonderful award-winning author on jazz histories, and he is going to talk about one of the greatest collaboration in all of recorded music, which is called The Great Summit between Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington, and this is an album, it might even be a double album as I recall. It fits in any any music lover's collection. It happened in 1961. The two giants, they agreed to play all of Ellington's music, or at least the album would be all of Ellington's music, and they would be using Louis Armstrong's band. Everyone except for the piano player, because Ellington wanted to play piano. And of course, Armstrong is singing. And it is incandescent. It's just one of the great albums. And if you buy it now, the more recent iterations of it will feature all kinds of outtakes and things like that. So you can really tell how well these musicians are getting together. And the thing about these collaborations is that, you know, Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington were great collaborators. I mean, anyone who's heard Louis and Ella Fitzgerald, for instance, or Duke Ellington and John Coltrane, you realize that these men are extremely comfortable and generous in how they collaborate. And so can you imagine what they sounded like when they got together? It was amazing. And so Keith Hatschek is going to give a wonderful presentation on the Satchmo Legacy stage inside the Jazz Museum at Saturday at 2. Also, Satchmo Fest would not be the event that it is without Ricky Riccardi, who is, he is the director of the research collections at the Louis Armstrong Museum in Corona, Queens, New York. And he has written a trilogy of biographies of Armstrong in every stage of his life. And the last of the trilogy, which is called, wait, let me get my paper right. It is called Stomp Off, Let's Go, The Early Years of Louis Armstrong. And that's going to be coming out early next year. And these are obviously the New Orleans years for Armstrong. And Ricky is just a wonderful writer and a wonderful presenter. He won a Grammy Award in 2022, you know, for his liner notes for one of the great collections of Louis Armstrong's that came out recently on Mosaic Records. And he's just, you know, a lively and fun, wonderful man who has, you know, deep knowledge of Armstrong's music and of the collection in Corona, Queens. So he is able to sort of pluck out all kinds of rarely seen video, rarely seen ephemera that of Armstrong's that's just worth the visit. So that's going to be Ricky Riccardi. He's going to be talking about Hello Dolly, Louis Armstrong's last and biggest hit. It's the, I believe it's the 60th anniversary of Hello Dolly this year, and he's going to be talking about it at 4 o'clock on the Satchmo Legacy stage at the Jazz Museum. On Sunday, I'd like to start the day with Doreen Ketchen, who is just about the most wonderful performer in New Orleans. She is a clarinetist. She's played everywhere, from Royal Street to the White House and all over the world. Her family members are also musicians, and they oftentimes back her up. And I have never encountered a traditional jazz player like Doreen Ketchen, because first of all, she's mesmerizing, but also she understands that music has to find people exactly where they are in life, whether you're on the street, whether you're in a concert hall, whether you're in a private home. You know, she is comfortable playing everywhere, and she does. She sometimes has the Louisiana Philharmonic backing her. Sometimes she's playing solo. She's just the consummate artist. And she's going to be playing at the Posi Gen Solar Stage on Esplanade Avenue right there at the Jazz Museum on Sunday at 1:30. So if you have a chance to see Doreen's jazz, this is the chance. Ricky Riccardi, again, he is going to end the lecture series on Sunday afternoon, and with he's got a presentation that's called Louis in London. It's Armstrong's last great concert appearance, actually. It happened in 1968 in London. It was recorded by the BBC, and it was a triumph for Armstrong. And the record, actually, of it has just recently gone on sale, and I've bought it. I bought that. I bought the T-shirt. I bought everything, and it's just fabulous. And you listen to it, and I tell you, it makes you laugh. It really makes you cry, and it makes you laugh yet again. I mean, you feel as if Armstrong is in the room with you, and all of his goodwill. And he was so proud of this album, actually, that it is the only album that he ever produced in his entire life. You know what I mean? That concert appearance in London. So it's worth seeing, actually, and that's going to be Ricky Riccardi Sunday at 4. And then ending Satchmo Fest, of course, is the great Shannon Powell. You've got to hear some music, and let Shannon Powell bring it to you. He is just a fantastic musician. He's going to be at the Posi Gen stage on Esplanade Avenue. He's completely worth seeing, and he's going to be there at 4:40. So at any one of these places or any other place that you find at Satchmo Fest, you're going to have a fantastic time, and hopefully I'll see you there.
All right, thank you. And there is food available and food and drink that's
Indeed.
for purchase and stuff too.
Every
so you won't
desire
starve,
will be
you won't
sated.
be thirsty.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, congratulations, Augustin. Almost 10 years of the theater company. That's not easy to do.
No.
And then, and this time around, you all have chosen the ultimate streetcar. Why streetcar?
You know, since we started the company over 9 years ago now, everyone's been saying, you started a Tennessee Williams Theater Company in New Orleans, when are you going to do Streetcar? And we wanted to wait until we had the setup ready to really knock it out of the park. And I'm very proud of this group of people. I think that they do that exactly. We have stayed so true to the text while also working to remove this play from under the museum glass. You know, there are a lot of people who come to us and say, I had never seen or read A Streetcar Named Desire, the movie, the play, anything, because it is now over 75 years old, and some folks just haven't had the opportunity to see it yet. And so if this is your first time seeing Streetcar, or not your first time seeing Streetcar, I think there's really going to be something for everyone.
For the uninitiated, if you will, in 10 words or less, no. Set it up for us, because we do actually have a clip and
Wonderful.
set that up too.
So Blanche Dubois is the protagonist of the story, and she comes to New Orleans for the first time ever.
From Mississippi.
From Mississippi to visit with, and it turns out stay with, her sister Stella, because she's extremely hard up. And then being in this cramped French Quarter apartment with her sister and her sister's new husband Stanley, things don't go as she plans, because she is a very particular type of lady. And so this scene that we have set up is when she's just arrived and has to kind of break some news to her sister Stella.
And we are talking about Elizabeth McCoy as Stella and as Blanche Charlie Carr. Let's take a look.
I haven't asked you the things you probably thought I was going to ask, and so I'll expect you to be understanding about what I have to tell you.
What, Blanche?
You're going to reproach me. I know you're bound to reproach me, but before you do, take into consideration that you left. I stayed. You came to New Orleans and looked out for yourself. I stayed at Belle Reve and tried to hold it together. I'm not meaning this in any reproachful way, but all the burden descended on my shoulders.
The best I could do was make my own living, Blanche.
I know, but you are the one that abandoned Belle Reve, not I. I stayed and fought for it, bled for it, almost died for it.
Would you stop this hysterical outburst and tell me what's happened? What do you mean?
I knew you would, Stella. I knew you would take this attitude about it.
About what? Please.
The loss. The loss.
Belle Reve? Lost? Does it know?
Yes, Stella.
But how did it go? What happened?
Oh, you're a fine one to ask me how it went.
Blanche.
You're a fine one to sit there accusing me of it.
Blanche.
I took the blows to my face and my body. All those deaths. The long parade to the graveyard. Father, Mother, Margaret, hers that dreadful way. She was so big with it, it couldn't fit in a coffin, but had to be burned like rubbish. You came home in time for the funerals, Stella. And funerals are pretty compared to deaths. Funerals are quiet, but deaths, not always. Sometimes their breathing is hoarse, and sometimes it rattles, and sometimes they even cry out, "Don't let me go." Even the old sometimes say, "Don't let me go," as if you were able to stop them. Yes, funerals are pretty, with pretty flowers, and oh, what gorgeous boxes they pack them away in. Unless you'd been at the bed when they cried out, "Hold me," you'd never suspect there was struggle for breath and bleeding. You didn't dream, but I saw, and now you sit there telling me with your eyes that I let the place go. How the hell do you think all that sickness and dying was paid for? Death is expensive, Miss Stella. And only Jessie, 100 to pay for her coffin, that was all. And I, with my pitiful salary from the school, yes, accuse me, sit there telling me that I let the place go. I let the place go. Where were you?
Augustin, the words are still, they're timeless.
They absolutely are. This is a play that has themes that still resonate today for each of us personally, and that's why I think people keep coming back and wanting more streetcar.
Now, the location of where you're staging the play is the Marigny Opera House, which was formerly a church, Holy Trinity Church. That backdrop is very intriguing. It really is a perfect place for it, isn't it?
Oh, for sure, and it's right next door to the neighborhood where the play is set. So this is a play that really catapulted New Orleans to cultural consciousness, and so we're so proud to have an all-local cast doing it right here with our town's patron playwright.
Absolutely. And really good news is that people are enjoying it, and you've extended yet again. Tell us about that.
Every show will be at 7:30 in the evening at the Marigny Opera House all the way through August 24th. We've just announced our final extension. Our must-close date is now August 24th, so come on out and check it out.
Now, in addition to all of this, if someone is new to Tennessee Williams, hard to believe, but maybe somebody is, you have a little tutorial for them, don't you?
I do.
Hold that up.
Yeah, Tennessee Williams 101. You could pick one of these up at the performances. This is my book that is a beginner's guide or someone who's already initiated's refresher for the life and plays of Tennessee Williams, and it does have a distinctly theatrical lean to it. So if you don't know much about Tennessee, or if you just want to dip your toe back in, this is a great place to start.
Well, even though he was born in Mississippi, lived in St. Louis, he spent so much time here, and of course there are documentaries about such things, and Tennessee Williams festivals and Tennessee Williams theater companies as well. This was really his spiritual home, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I think there's no place that quite affected him the same as New Orleans, and vice versa. He is just such a huge figure in New Orleans' literary legacy, I believe.
Back to the almost 10 years, you obviously wanted to make this happen.
Oh, for sure. This was one of those things that once we got the idea, my co-artistic director Nick and I, we just had to make it happen. We feel like we've done so much, and there's still so much more Tennessee Williams to do. And next year is our 10th season, and we're tackling his other Pulitzer Prize-winning play, the first being Streetcar, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And we're going to be doing that season all uptown at our professional residency at Loyola. So we're really excited about this whole next season.
All right, congratulations. And now, though, time for our picks. Poppy.
Well, there's a party going on at all the Felipes on Saturday where they're going to be celebrating National Watermelon Day with buy one, get one free watermelon margaritas all day, all locations.
All right, Gwen.
Saturday, August 3rd, I'd like to see the new Louis Armstrong Center, which has been built right across the street from Louis Armstrong's house in Queens. And Regina Bain, who is the executive director of the house, she's going to be talking about the new center, which is a real triumph, apparently, of our architecturally, of artistic vision, and of fundraising, which is something that people in New Orleans, we need to know a lot about. They did a wonderful job. So I'd like to see that. That's going to be at the Legacy stage in the Jazz Museum at 1 o'clock Saturday.
All right, Augustin.
Well, where I'm going to be all weekend will be at the Marigny Opera House for A Streetcar Named Desire, but I might try and sneak away to maybe check out Pippin at Tulane Summer Lyric while I'm at it.
Absolutely. And once again, your website for the theater company.
Sure, it's www.twtheaternola.com.
All right, thank you so much. And before my picks, we at WYES wanted to acknowledge the passing of Mary Lou Conroy, a cherished former member of our WYES staff. In addition to administrative duties, including managing our annual auctions, Mary Lou was the elegant voice of over 700 episodes of the Great Chefs series, which ran on public television locally and nationally, and later the Discovery Channel over 20 years. Here is an excerpt from the Great Chefs of New Orleans series, featuring Chef Geffredo Fraccaro's crab meat ravioli recipe.
This is a perfectly appropriate item for Chef Geffredo, since ravioli was invented in Liguria. For that matter, the region also claims to have originated both minestrone and the ambrosial garlic cheese basil melange, pesto. But Chef Fraccaro's dish possesses enough notoriety on its own terms. It won first place in the Chef's Choice category at the 1982 Crab Cooking Olympics in San Francisco. And to cinch its fame, the chef did something that sends New Orleanians into a swoon. He kept it off the menu. If you want crab-stuffed ravioli at La Riviera, you have to ask for it.
Mary Lou was truly a gracious lady. Episodes from the Great Chef series, including many shot around the world, continue to air on WYES on Saturdays at 1 p.m., as well as being available on Amazon Prime. And Andy Calandri was also a longtime collaborator, and we loved his involvement with it as well. But great chefs, we loved you, Mary Lou. And as Augustin said, do not miss Tulane's summer lyric rendition of the musical Pippin this weekend at Dixon Hall featuring Chase Kamada. Saturday evening from 5 to 10 p.m., it's the 30th annual Fidelity White Linen Night. Galleries along the 300 to 500 blocks of Julia Street, 500 block of St. Joseph, and the 900 block of Camp will be open. The party continues later into the evening at the Ogden Museum. This Thursday at 7 p.m., Peter Finney Jr. discusses and signs his new book, Dragos, An American Journey. This is the story of the Satanovich family, the founders of Dragos seafood restaurant and inventors of the charbroiled oyster. Woo-hoo! And history buff Jeff Rue has assembled an exhibit of 1984 World's Fair memorabilia on view at the East Bank Regional Branch of the Jefferson Parish Library. That's on West Napoleon Avenue in Metairie. Kudos to Chris Smith, who was on the staff, for helping with that too. And thank you all so very much. I mean, this is exciting. All the different things we've gotten to talk about. It's funny, even in the middle of summer, there's stuff to talk about still. Right. Thank you all very much for watching. Good night.
Programming on WYES is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
Public television is our passion. With so much content that WYES broadcasts and presents online, we are quite entertained and highly informed.
Please join us in supporting WYES.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.